Hello developers, welcome to day 21 of the 30 days of JavaScript challenge. Today presents another opportunity for us to tackle challenges and enhance our understanding of JavaScript concepts. Let's dive in and make the most out of this learning journey. Today's challenge says, given an array R and a chunk size, return a chunked array. So that is the challenge. Then it explains what a chunked array is. So a chunked array contains the elements in the provided array but consists of subarrays, each of length, size. Okay. Then the length of the last subarray may be less than the size if the length of the given array is not evenly divisible by size. So like you can have this example here. Like if the array given is array of numbers 1 to 5, then the size is 1. You're supposed to come up with a chunked array. So you have said that a chunked array must contain these elements of the provided array. And then each element of the chunked array should be a subarray of size that is given. So that's why you see the output here. Each array is a subarray. Each element is a subarray of size 1. So this given array will be distributed to subarrays each of size 1. That's why you see have some subarrays here, each of size 1. Then example 2, the same thing. So if you're given an array of 5 numbers, then the size is 3. The chunked array will be an array that contains subarrays, and each subarray will have the size of 3. So this first 3 will be the first subarray, as you can see here. Then the remaining one will be the next subarray. But you are told that in the example, you see that the length of the subarray, the length of the last subarray may be less than the size if the length of the provided array is not divisible by the size. So this length of the given array is not divisible by 3. That's why you see the last array does not have the size of 3. So basically that is how you're supposed to solve this challenge. Then you're asked to solve it without using the chunk function. So let us learn some key concepts, then we dive right into the solution. The first key concept that we learn is the Array.slice method. So this method is used to create a new array that contains a portion of elements from the existing array. So let's say I have an array here, I'll call it R, array of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then I want to create a new array that contains these 3 elements here. So I can use the slice method to do that. So slice method, you keep the name of the array there, then dot slice. Then this slice method takes in a start index and the end index. Then it returns a new array starting from this start index up to, but not including the end index. So if I want a new array to start from here 2 to 4, I'll put the start index. The index of 2 is 1, so the start index here will be 1, like that. Then the end index, since I want it to end at 4, I'll put the index of the next, because I've said that the end index will not be included in the new array. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the index here will be 4. And that will give me a new array containing these 3 middle items, because it will start from index 1 and end up to index 4, but not including the index 4. And I've said that this one will return a new array. So I have to save it into another variable. So I'll call that variable new array const new array, like that. Now if I log this my new array, so I can just log that new array to confirm that it worked. New array, like that. So if I run this code, you will see that in the console my new array will start from 2 and end with 4. But you can wait for it to confirm. You can see it's a new array that starts from 2 and ends with 4. So you can just log the original array to see that it was not modified, because I've said that this slice method does not mutate the original array. So if I log the original array, I expect it to still remain the way it was up here, because the slice method does not mutate the original array. And you can see indeed the original array is still intact. Then in this slice method, if you don't provide the start and end index, the start index by default will be 0, and the end index will be the length of the array. So if you don't provide any start and end index, the array will just be the same. It will assume that the start index is 0 and the end index is 1. So you can see the sliced array will just be equivalent to the new array. Okay. And if you want, you can also provide only the start index and leave the end index. For example, if I want my new array to start from here, or let's say it starts from here up to the rest, I can just start from index 0, 1, 2, index 2. Then I'll just pass one parameter like that, and this will be the start index. And if you don't provide the end index, by default it will be equal to the length of the array. So if you run this code, expect there I see 3, 4, and 5. You can see 3, 4, and 5. And that is how this array.slice works. To solve this challenge, you'll first have to create a function. So let me use the anonymous function syntax. I'll call my function chunk, like that. Then this function, I told you, are supposed to accept an array and a size. So I'll accept here my array and the size, like that. Then I'll start with the iterative solution. So basically, this is let's use this example here. So this is, let's say you have this array and then you have this size. So you expect the solution to be something like an array of 2 and 7 as the first element, then another array of 8 and 5 as the next element. So this is the expected chunk array to contains an array of different subarrays that have the size of 2. So this will be the first subarray, this will be the second subarray. We've already discussed that, so I'll try to write a solution. So first, let us first get a variable to store the subarray and the resulting array. So I'll just get a variable here. I'll call it result, and it will start as an empty array. Then I'll declare the variable subarray, and you'll notice that I've used let because we'll be reassigning the value of the subarray. Then I can loop through this given array. I'll use the for loop. So I'll say let I is equals to 0. Then as long as I is less than the array.length, I'm just trying to loop through the original array. Then I'll just increment the value of I, like that. So after every iteration, so this will loop through this array here. Then after every iteration, I want to store each element in this subarray here. So I'll do something like, I'll say subarray dot push. I'll use the push to store it. So I'll store the element. So array index I, like that. So I'll be storing each element in this subarray that I've created here. Then I'll check if the subarray has reached the size. So in this case, and if the subarray is 2, I push that array into this result. Then I empty this subarray again. So I'll do something like that. So I'll put an if condition here. Say if the subarray dot length is equal to the size. So in this example here, if the subarray has the size of 2, and to push the subarray into this results array. So I'll do something like results dot push, and I'll push the subarray, like that. So after it has reached the size, this array will be added into this results array. So that will be the first subarray. So like that. Then after that, I also want to empty this subarray so that I can start adding elements to it again. So I'll say subarray is equals to an empty string, an empty array again. There's also a method to empty the array, but we'll just use this one because this is just straightforward. So I'll be looping through the array. Then for each element, I'll be storing it in this subarray here. Then once the length of this subarray has reached the length of this size passed, I'll push the array into this results array. Then I'll empty the subarray again. Then the iteration will continue. So this should work, but in cases where the array given, in this case where the array given is not evenly distributed by size, in the last subarray, it will not be pushed. So outside the loop here, I can create a condition. So I can say if subarray has something. So if subarray dot length, if it has something, so if it's truthy, we'll just take the subarray and push it. We'll just redo this line again. So I'll just copy that line and put it there. So this condition is if this can only happen if the given array is not evenly distributed by the size. Because if it's not distributed by the size, in the last iteration, let's say if I had something like this, let's say I have an extra digit. In the first iteration, it will start with 2, then 2 will be pushed in this subarray. Then the next iteration, 7 will be pushed in this subarray. Then in that iteration, this array of 2 and 7, its length will be 2, and the size is 2. So that array of 2 and 7 will be pushed to the results array, then the subarray will be emptied. Then the iteration will continue. The value of I will be now be 2, and 2 is 8. So 8 will be pushed in this subarray. Then 5 will also be pushed in that subarray. Then since the length will be 2, it will be pushed to that results array. Then in the next iteration, 9 will be pushed in that subarray. But this 9 won't be pushed in the resulting subarray because this condition will not have been met, because the length of that array will be 1, and 1 is not equal to 2. So this pushing in the results array will not happen. That's why I'm putting this other condition here to check if the subarray has some elements, and if it has some elements, push that elements into the original array. So I expect this code to work. So this is the iterative solution. So you can just test it. So I can just test it with this example here. So I'll just call chunk. I'll call it to this array that I've given that array, and the size that I've given there, size, like that. So if I run this, if I log this, I expect to see. So let me log. Expect to see an array of 2, 2, 7 as one array. It didn't run. Let me just check it. I think it's fine. Then the last array will be 9. So let me just expect this solution here because I added this 9. So let me save this code and run it again. Undefined. Did I even log it? Oh, I didn't return in this. I didn't return. So yeah, you have to return the results here. You have to return results like that, so that this can be returned. This original array should be returned. That's the thing that I forgot. So you can see indeed we got the expected result. It will be a chunk of 2 and 7, then another subarray of 8 and 5, then the last subarray will be 9. So this solves the solution, but this is the long way. So let us look at how we can solve the same solution using the array.slice. By now we know that we can use the slice method to create a new array that contains a portion of elements from the existing array. So instead of storing this subarray separately, we know that the slice method can give us the subarray. So let me just write this code using the slice method. So I'll just clear that. So you know that this slice method, you have to use array, the name of the array, then slice. Then you have to put the start and the end index. Then the new subarray will contain elements from this start index up to, but not including the end index. So in this case, we want this subarray to start from index I, then to end to where the size is. So I'll say something like, if I can put here size. But in the next iteration, I want it to be from where the first iteration stopped until the next size. So I'll just put here I plus size, like that. Okay, so this will be the subarray. Then in the next iteration, I don't want to increment to the next index and to go to the next subarray where the first subarray ended. So I'll do something like plus equals size. So yeah, so this will, if this array has 5 elements, the first iteration, it will start from I, it will split I 0 to 0 plus 2, that is 2. So this one will be the first subarray. Then in the next iteration, I don't want it to be I plus plus to be index 1. I don't want the value of I to be index 1, but I want it to be index 3. That's why I say here I plus size. This is same as writing that I plus size, like that. So yeah, that's why I put like that. Then this subarray, and to push it into the result array. So I'll just say here I'll use the push method. So I'll say result dot push. So yeah, you can see I'm doing exactly what I was doing before, but now in a very simple manner. I'll just be pushing it like that. So this also will solve the challenge. You can just prove it with this code. So if I run this code, it should just work as well. And this is just also simple. You can see it just works. So that is the solution with the slice. So you can try these examples given with either of the solution, and you can see all of them will work. So see you in the next challenge. Peace out.